The press corps watches the closed doors. No statements, no aggressive leaks, only a quiet, calculated realignment. That silence speaks volumes. And here's what makes this moment historic. Just 12 months ago, this would have been unthinkable. And yet, here we are. While Donald Trump has been shaking the global system with tariffs, coercion, and extreme volatility, Mark Carney has been doing the exact opposite. Trump wanted unilateral pressure. Carney built strategic alliances. For decades, the United States has been Canada's overwhelming trading partner. But in an era where Washington is increasingly unpredictable, Canada is now actively building new partnerships.
Report from the European Parliament is making the case to get tighter with Canada. It got overwhelming support and was authored by German member Tobias Kramer. He described an increasingly erratic American ally as one reason why the EU and Canada should strengthen ties. I spoke with him about his report. Tobias Kramer, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are the author of this report looking at closer ties between the EU and Canada. Give me your case.
I think the case almost makes itself. We are in, as the Prime Minister put it, a moment of rupture in the international order. And Europe, our countries and Canada are facing the challenges very much the same. We are in a world of war-addicted Russia, an increasingly assertive China, and a somewhat erratic American ally. And we see very clearly that we are aligned with Canada, not just because of our common cultural heritage or the values we share when it comes to democracy, free trade, etc., but really also with the strategic challenges we have at the moment.
The numbers tell a definitive story. Washington is facing a $200 billion military bill while global energy prices jump by 10%. That line changes everything. The United States is severely exposed. Their energy infrastructure is threatened, and their resources are stretched. In contrast, Canada remains a stable, reliable supplier. This raises a fundamental question for policymakers. Why accept tariff coercion when Ottawa holds the strategic advantage? They see the disruption. They see the volatility. They see the opportunity. They diversify. They build new alliances. They refuse to remain dependent. Leverage. That's what this is about. Economic leverage. Geopolitical leverage. Leverage that shrinks Washington's influence. This is about leverage. The more partners Canada has, the less vulnerable it becomes to pressure from any single country. When you supply over 4 million barrels of daily crude oil to a market facing a global supply shock, you dictate the terms. Canada's critical resources give Ottawa substantial optionality. Optionality reduces vulnerability. And vulnerability is what pressure exploits. This move signals Canada is building optionality. They are securing billions in independent trade deals, bypassing American bottlenecks entirely. This profound shift has united the Canadian political spectrum. Even domestic rivals are setting aside differences to project strength. He leaned slightly toward the microphone. His demeanor remained absolutely calm. The old dependencies are gone. The old comfort zone is gone. The old world is gone. The message is unmistakable. Instead of retreating, Canada is launching a coordinated diplomatic offensive on American soil. Then came the moment that revealed just how willing they are to challenge Washington directly on the world's largest platforms.
Pierre Poilievre is back in Canada after a week-long visit to the U.S., and the Conservative leader spent close to 3 hours on the Joe Rogan Experience, a podcast with an audience of more than 20 million.
We're very proudly Canadian, so we're never going to be the 51st state. And I just wish you'd knock that shit off so that we can get back to talking about the things that we can do as two separate, but two separate countries that are actually friends. And the tariffs aren't a good idea either. We should get the tariffs out because there's so much we could be doing together as neighbors and partners if we got rid of those tariffs.
This is Code. He is broadcasting to 20 million Americans that Ottawa rejects unilateral coercion. That is saying that Canadian sovereignty will never be compromised. When the leader of the opposition uses the largest media platform in the United States to draw a hard line, it proves the strategy is working. The political establishment in Ottawa is entirely aligned on defending their strategic autonomy. They will not fold. They will not blink. They will not surrender their advantage. This unity neutralizes Washington's primary tactic of creating internal division. The resilience of this coalition is a direct response to unpredictability. So, what does this mean for Canada's economy? It means the focus is permanently expanding beyond North America. While the U.S. alienates its traditional allies, Canada is stepping into the vacuum. A dense web of international agreements is being woven to ensure long-term stability. Trade relationships with Europe, India, and Japan are accelerating at a historic pace. Defense, energy security, and advanced technologies are the new pillars. This is a calculated realignment of global influence, positioning Canada as the reliable partner the world needs. But here is where the story becomes geopolitical. The European Union has watched this disruption carefully. They see the tariffs. They see the fractured relationships. And they have made a definitive choice. When the United States acts as an erratic superpower, middle powers must adapt. Europe is no longer waiting for Washington to stabilize. They are looking directly to Ottawa for leadership.
I'm going to pick up on something you said. We are the only non-European, and I bring that up because Finland's Alexander Stubb met with Mark Carney about a week ago, and he said, jokingly, maybe Canada should join the European Union. Well, we are non-European. Do you think there's actually any weight to that kind of an idea beyond a joke?
I mean, the nice thing about the European Union is that unlike other complexes, for us it's really if a country wants to join, and then we look at that. I mean, I've seen that almost half of the population of Canadians are interested in joining the European Union. It's in the end up to Canadians, but given a lot of the alignments we see, I'm somebody who thinks that given what has happened over the last couple of years, I won't exclude anything. So I like that as a long-term vision, but it ultimately is up to Canadians.
That line changes everything. That is not commentary. That is positioning. By formally aligning with Canada and integrating them into classified defense programs, Europe is officially validating Canada's new status as a premier global power. Washington's isolationist policies have created a profound geopolitical void, and Ottawa is successfully filling it. The European Union is actively choosing stability over disruption, and they have identified Canada as their primary anchor. This is a monumental shift in the balance of power. The partnerships are solidifying. The alliances are deepening. The old North American hierarchy is officially obsolete. Canada is operating with unprecedented leverage on the world stage, completely reshaping its future. Think about the magnitude of this pivot. The European Parliament voted with overwhelming 76% support to bypass traditional American channels and deal directly with Canada. They recognize that a like-minded, stable democracy with vast, critical minerals and energy resources is far more valuable than a volatile neighbor. This dense web of cooperation ensures future tariff threats will fail. Canada has successfully insulated its economy by becoming indispensable to the rest of the developed world. What happened in Brussels today was more than a routine diplomatic vote. It was a glimpse into a changing global order. If you want sharp, fearless analysis of how Canada is navigating global pressure while expanding its economic power, this is the channel for you. We break down the strategy behind the speeches, the leverage behind the deals, and the leadership behind the headlines. Mark Carney isn't just reacting to events. He's reshaping Canada's global position in real time. Subscribe to Canada SR, turn on notifications, and stay ahead of the geopolitical shifts defining this decade. And now I want to hear from you. Will Europe permanently replace the U.S. as Canada's most trusted strategic ally? Or is this just a temporary shift? Let me know in the comments below.